everyone, and welcome back to Jesse Hecht Creative. Today we're going over some heroes and villains from Spider-Man No Way Home by Marvel Legends. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button. Now let's get to it. Starting off with the Raimi Spider-Man, I really like this figure, however the old one is much better. Comes with better accessories and way better paint sculpt. The new one is nice for that new extra head, but I don't need the whole body or the less accessories, so it's going away for now. I really love this Tobey Maguire head sculpt. The eyes are very well done, the eyebrows, lips, nose. The freckling and 5 o'clock shadow kind of thing is interesting. It doesn't look too great. It looks just okay, a couple blemishes here and there for me, but other than that, it's excellent. The more side profile looks really nice for him too, as well as the ears look great, and the head sculpt for the hair is very nicely done. A lot of them I've seen have it riding up where it gives him a big forehead or a very big space above the ears. I'm glad that didn't happen with mine. It's a very nice figure, all things considered, with some really great articulation that works out very well for this figure. Next up is the Amazing Spider-Man sculpt, and I think this is the better paint job for this new figure. It looks great and indistinguishable from the previous figure. However, there are other accessories, but I do love the head sculpt for Andrew Garfield, so let's check that out on the new body right now. This one's going away. The first thing that calls out to me in this head sculpt is the shininess. I don't know why it's so shiny. Very weird. I do like how it looks though. The side profile, again, is really great. The front is nice with a little bit of that shadowing for the beard at least, or lack thereof. The eyebrows are really nice and bushy, and the face looks great. One of the eyes is a little bit too close, I think, to the nose, but that's fine, I would guess. The hair is really great too. I love how they captured his coif and his really bushy hair. Kind of reminds me of mine. I really love this Spider-Man. He was one of my favorites when I was younger, but now I'm a Tom Holland guy. The ear is kind of big, I think, too. Maybe that's on Andrew Garfield, but this is a really great head sculpt. Really nice articulation. I don't think it's great as Tobey's, but still contender for being really great head sculpt. A little bit shiny, though. And finally, we come down to the new Final Swing suit versus the Doc Ock suit I would guess that he's given at the end of the film. I do find that the new one is nicer and looks really great as far as Spider-Man goes, but the head sculpt is kind of iffy for me. The older Doc Ock suit figure is great, but this new suit might take the cake. Let's find out. This head sculpt for the Final Swing Spider-Man is one of my least favorite ones in the whole bunch. The eye is a little bit lower and farther away from the nose than I would like. This one's really on point. There's some paint mishaps though on the webbing over here. It's just not really that great to me. I'm sorry, it could be way better. The articulation is fine. I guess we've seen this before on all the other Spider-Men. So yeah, let's just move on from this head sculpt. And this is my definitive Tom Holland head sculpt. It's amazing. I love how this one looks. Yeah, it's a tad shiny, but you get some great articulation out of it, and it just works out so well. It's nice, clean, and very great for the character and the figure. I may pick up a second one just to replace this stupid head, but yeah, I love this so much. The hair sculpt is really great, and the ears are nice, and the nose is great. Lips, eyebrows, eyes themselves, everything is wonderful about this head sculpt. I love it, love it, love it. The body sculpt is very nice. I like how this looks. You do have to keep everything just so to get it like it looks in the movies, where all the web lines sort of line up with each other, but it's fine. The articulation is very nice, solid. Butterfly joints too. We've seen this before with a bunch of other Spider-Men. It is a little bit hard to move because it's a brand new figure, but it's very solid and works out very nicely, and he comes with great accessories too. This sculpt is really great. I like how they're working this out. It's kind of like a hybrid sort of G.I. Joe Power Rangers. They really perfected this kind of articulation with this figure. It is so nice to see. I really love how this all looks and works out really great. It's very shiny on and off camera. He also comes with the standard thwip hands that are nicely painted and look very good, as well as wall crawling hands that are very nicely done. I really like how these look. The spider emblem on the front is also perfect, very angular and really nice looking. And the one on the back is similar, but I wish it was a bit higher so you could move this without having... Oh, wow, that actually works. Nice. The legs, however, are where this hype train sadly crashes. It is really hard to get this to move up without forcing it and breaking it, so you have to sort of work it around to the top, which has some nice articulation going up, and then work it back around to the back. There's some nice articulation going back a little bit at least, going out this far very nicely, doing the splits. Really great for this figure, and I just wish it was a much better articulation scheme, or at least whatever peg they're using underneath wasn't so angular. You do have a swivel up here, a double jointed knee that is hard to work a little bit, very stiff. There we go. Works out fine, I would guess. And then no swivel down here, which is a shame. They should fix that. Down and then up and then pivot, which you pay pegos on the feet, all the little legalese and everything. They figured out to put them on the feet. Yay! That's great. But yeah, Final Swing Spider-Man is a nice figure who could have used more in the quality control department. And here we have all three Spider-Man standing next to each other in their red and blues, looking amazing. They all look really nice together and shine equally and brightly as well. Andrew Garfield Spider-Man stands at about 6 inches tall, Tom Holland at about 5¾ inches tall, and Tobey Maguire around 5¼ inches tall as well. They're just wonderful, spectacular, amazing, and friendly. But what isn't friendly are the villains we'll be seeing next, right after this. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. Sandman is up first. I really love this head sculpt. It's very nicely done. You can see Thomas Hayden Church in there very well. The sand does not really block it at all. This is wonderful. He gets them all the way around and up and down and side to side. Great articulation for this. It's a really nice head sculpt. Sandman's body is made of sand the entire movie. Basically no clothes or anything. I really love all the paint apps on here though. Could use a few more on the back, I think. And yeah, he has a butt. It's kind of weird. But all the paint apps on the front are amazingly done. He has nice articulation as well, with the usual stuff we've been seeing, but just a little bit less and a little bit gummier, I think, on this figure. It's slightly gummy, I think, and just not as good as the other characters, but it's still nice in my book and works out well for this figure. Sandman's sand legs look really nice. I love the paint apps on them. There's also some extra sculpting around the feet to make it look like his sand is coming out on the ground. Really nice on the back, no paint apps at all, but they look really great as well. You do get some articulation, and it kind of spreads open this joint over here, so be careful. You also get some nice knee on that. It doesn't really work as well if you have both of them going, but it's fine and it has a nice contour. You don't get any swivel down here. You get down and then up and then a pivot with two pegos upon the feet and all the little legalese and stuff. Pretty cool. He does come with a pair of fists that are painted really well, a pair of grabbing hands that suit the figure very well and are painted nicely, a pair of loose sleeves that can work as effects as well, and a pair of extra large grabbing hands from the end of the movie that look really nice and are painted excellently. With all these different effects at his disposal, the Sandman looks to be a formidable foe. Let's take a trip back in time to the time of the dinosaurs, or at least the Great Lizard from 2012. This is a nice figure and holds up pretty well. The head sculpt is really weird though. I like how it looks. They put a good effort into it, but it looks so uncanny and strange that it's just kind of marvelous in a way. The tongue is this weird red, the mouth and the eyes are just really humanoid and weird, and the nose is strange too. It has some pretty good articulation here and there, left and right, up and down kind of tiny bit, pivot a little bit, but yeah, it's just so uncanny. I just love it. The body is nice, and if you have had the Sauron build a figure with the pterodactyl wings and everything, you've seen this before. This is a nice body sculpt though, and looks really good. There's a little blemish up here, but that's from age, I would guess, and being in the box with a bunch of other figures, and this is really nice. You get some good articulation out of the figure, and some really nice posability from the arms at least, like up this far and then down, and this claw is just nice, but it only has a swivel, which is a shame. It has like 5 fingers. It's kind of weird and creepy, and the neck can go up and down a little bit too, as well as this twisting and going back and forth a little bit side to side on a ball joint. Very nicely done for the sculpt and paint. I like this a lot. But it's the legs that really bother me, particularly these. Ball joints are just weird and strange and just awkward looking on this figure. It's a shame. Could have been really great, but they just gave it this kind of thing. It's really weird. You do get some good articulation out of it though. Very good side to side, up and down and back, and works out really well, I would think at least. You get a swivel up here, double jointed knee over here. Great scale work on this, by the way, in paint. You get a swivel down here and also a hinge up and down. This is the pivot, I guess, and his kind of like digitigrade legs, or feet at least. You gotta move it like that to make it look really cool, and actually crouching down, he looks wonderful, very lizard-like and really nice. And then 2 pegos at the bottom of the feet. Really great toes for this too, and some nice artwork on this. This is just a nicely painted figure. And the back of the figure has this nice stripe of dark over here. It looks really great, as well as an up and down tail that can swivel all the way around anywhere you want it to go, and works out really great. No real paint apps on this, but the sculpt work is really nice. But even though the lizard doesn't have any accessories and outdated articulation, he's still a winner because of the paint and sculpt that carries him through to the new decade. And here are the 3 Spider-Men standing next to the 2 villains. Sandman stands at about 6 inches tall, while the lizard stands at about 8 inches tall. Really nice figures and really great blasts from the past, from the early and mid 2000s, from what we've been experiencing of the past 20 years or so. I love these figures and they're all really cool, but we have one more villain to check out right after this. Hello everyone, and thank you so much for watching so far. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also click the bell icon for more creativity. Now let's get back to it. And finally, the Green Goblin. Looks very accurate to the film. I love the ears, they're amazing. The mouth is really great, those silver teeth. The eyes are very bulgy and creepy, and the nose is really crooked and hooked. My only issue is this on the bottom, the skin tone. It should be discoloration at least. That's a shame, but what are you going to do when it comes with another fantastic head sculpt after this? We do get some nice articulation too, the same we've seen before. It works out really well, a little bit stiff, a little bit tight, but it's fine for me, I guess. Norman's on sabbatical, honey. I really love this head sculpt a lot. It is one of the best that Marvel Legends have produced. Willem Dafoe is a fantastic actor, and his character of Green Goblin is amazing. I love how this looks. This is basically perfect. No notes. It is just wonderful. The head sculpt has some nice articulation as well, going up, down, all the way around, swivels, what have you, everything. You can get some really creepy looks out of this guy. Really creepy. He also comes with a pair of goggles that look kind of wonky on his face. I'm not sure if they're the right positioning for these, but they look kind of cool, at least in retrospect. Gonna move it up a little bit, at least on this side. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I got a warped pair, but they're still creepy anyways with this visage. And finally, he comes with a hood that completes the sort of tattered, worn look of at least all this up here. Looks great. You can't take this off though, which is a shame. I wish you could more easily, but it has some nice range, articulation, moves around a little bit, and works well with this at least. This is probably how I'll be keeping him. It's great. The body is a mishmash of different pieces, and I love how this looks. It's very chaotic and insane. I love how it works well for the figure. There's different bits of cloth everywhere. The articulation is very nice as well, working around all the pieces around it, working in sort of a weird chaotic harmony. I do love how this all looks. The articulation is insanely done. You can move these a little bit. They're very pliable, interestingly enough. Pretty nice. You can't take it off though, which is a shame. I wish you could. The articulation is really great on this figure. The little pouches are nice too over here and extra wonderful. Very neat looking. This is nice too. You get some good articulation for the body as well, going all the way around, at least for that. It does look chunky though and kind of sort of fat in a way. I don't really know if I like it or not, but I'll take what I can get when it comes to this figure. This is probably a once in a lifetime figure that we'll never get again. The sculpt is very non-usable for anybody else, I would think. So yeah, drop down hips are cool, by the way. They work out really well. But yeah, the asymmetry of the character is excellent. Everything about this figure looks really great, and I love how he's just Goblin from No Way Home. Perfection. In addition to choking the life out of Spider-Man, the Green Goblin can hold this little pumpkin bomb. It is a very small piece that's hard to lose, but luckily you can just place it into his hand and it works just fine. I like having this little light piece out so you could see it better, and it clips into his hand. No muss, no fuss, no nothing. It just sits there and looks great in his hand against Spider-Man. And what would a Goblin be without his glider? I love this piece. The foot pegs you have to place in on your own, as well as this piece over here. Very hard to get in, but it looks really accurate to the films. I love how this whole thing looks. It can articulate up and down a little bit like this and do a little clap clap. It looks great on the top. You get some nice purple with silver at least, and some nice jet engines on the back as well, with some nice little jet engine sort of lights on the front, I guess, over here and over there. It is really great to see. I love how this whole thing looks. There's like spears everywhere and knives. It's just great, and it's just a really wonderful piece. It fits the character excellently, and hopefully they'll use it again for a Raimi Goblin from that movie instead of No Way Home. Hopefully, Hasbro, hopefully you want to use this again. But yeah, it's just a really nice piece with some great articulation. The foot pegs are a little bit tricky to use. I've already pre-posed the Goblin over here. You just place one foot in the strap and then the peg, and the other one as well in the strap and then the peg, and it works out pretty nicely. The very definition of organized chaos, the No Way Home Green Goblin is a wonderful figure with amazing sculpt, paint, articulation, and accessories. And here are the three Spider-Men standing next to the Green Goblin and his glider, and that glider is massively impressive. The Green Goblin stands up at about 6¼ inches tall or so, with the glider's wingspan being at roughly about, I would say, 7¼ inches long or so, with a height of around 4½ to 5 inches tall to 4¼ inches tall, depending on how you want to measure it. And here is everyone standing next to each other looking awesome. I love how all these figures look together, and they make for such a great batch of characters. And also here's Jesse Hecht Creative. You know, boys, I'm something of a Spider-Man myself. Forget I said that. Overall, No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is a great movie, and the figures are no exception. They're all just wonderful. The head sculpts for the two different Peter Parkers of the Sonyverse are really well done. I like Tobey Maguire's a little bit more than Andrew Garfield's. It's less shiny and more on point. The final swing suit is nice looking, but has a lot of articulation issues. I do love the new head sculpt of the unmasked Peter Parker, but everything else is kind of strange. Those legs are really hard to move, and post-review I found some paint chips, so that's disappointing. The masked head sculpt is also trash. I may have to look for another one. Sandman is a really great figure. I'm surprised by how much I love him. He's really nicely done. The sculpting is great, the articulation is great, the paint wash is wonderful, and the accessories are plentiful. This is how figures should be for this line. A lot of accessories, a lot of great paint, and nice sculpt. The Lizard, being a figure from around a decade ago at the time of this recording, is still a wonderful figure. I really appreciate the paint and sculpt work on this figure. It's very well done, even with how grotesque that head is. There are no accessories to speak of. It would have been great to have a lab coat or maybe a beaker or something. The articulation may be outdated for the time, but I do like how it looks, and it's solid and it works well. The Green Goblin is just a masterpiece. I love everything about him. It's basically perfect. One of the best figures of this year for Marvel Legends. My biggest issue is customizability. You can't take off that purple cloak, and you don't have a painted green neck. That would be much better for the alternate head sculpt. Other than that, the figure is once again the epitome of organized chaos. If you're a fan of Spider-Man or Spider-Man No Way Home, I highly recommend getting Green Goblin and Sandman. They're excellent. If you like the unmasked head sculpts, these Spider-Men are pretty good, but I would recommend waiting on clearance for the final swing Spidey. And if you like the Lizard, he's still a pretty good figure that works well with the rest of these, even in this new decade. But make no mistake, by web swinging, sand flinging, sewer crawling, or goblin gliding, there is still No Way Home. So which one of these figures is your favorite? The Spider-Men? The villains? Masked? Unmasked? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching Jesse Hecht Creative. Make sure to click like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You can also visit us at jessehechtcreative.com for more reviews like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and keep being creative. Stay tuned.